bought my house, I remember the story that you said when you bought your first house where you had like full body sweats for like 3 days before you
Mm-hmm.
signed your name to that paperwork.
Physically ill, I think was the term I used. Yes.
Hey, Dad.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Hey, it's house buying season. What we're most afraid of as first-time home buyers is getting screwed. So what's like the nightmare situation that you don't want to have happen to you
Well,
after you buy a house?
probably the worst thing, and the most important thing that it's pretty easy to know. Even a um, just a home inspector guy, is going to stick his thermometers in the ductwork and tell you if your air conditioner is working or tell you if the furnace is working. Probably the biggest thing that could be concealed, and I don't mean concealed that somebody is intentionally concealing it, but that isn't readily evident, would be the heat exchanger of the furnace. That we can have serious failures in a heat exchanger in an 8 to 10 year old appliance. And that would be my biggest fear. Is I bought this furnace uh, in June or in the busy summer season or something like that, and now here the first day of fall when I'm turning my furnace on, I find out that, oh, wait a minute, I've got a serious failure. Because now it's like, well, gee, the home warranty company or whatever is going to look at that and say, well, when did this heat exchanger fail? Did it fail
Hmm.
in since June? You
Probably
really,
before you bought the house.
yeah, I think it was a pre-existing condition, and so
Right.
they're going to sidestep that. So
I will never forget. We had a customer who gave us a call, and they bought their house in the spring, and in the fall when they went to turn on the furnace, there was just some other problem with it, right?
yeah,
And when the technician, while he was there, he found a cracked heat exchanger, which means that um,
got to turn
carbon
it off.
monoxide can be
Yeah,
leaked into the house. So we absolutely have to turn it off. He has to buy a new furnace.
but yeah, it's a
It's going to
serious
cost a
appliance.
minimum of what? Like if you have to buy a new furnace because there's a cracked heat exchanger, a minimum would
Oh,
be
two
roughly.
two to three thousand
Oh,
dollars
okay.
in that range. Yeah.
So you want to check the heat exchanger during a home inspection. Anything else?
Well, certainly a more in-depth check of the air conditioner. When we go through a system and check it, we aren't simply giving it a yay or nay, it's working or it's not working. We look at wear on components. We look at how close to spec are certain electrical components. We're doing a much, much, much more detailed type of inspection than a home inspector who is primarily looking, is it working or not working. Certainly if your appliance, your comfort system is over 5 years old, even 8 to 10, uh, you want certain parts of that system really checked by a professional to know that it's going to operate safely and be durable and not be an expensive problem in the near future.
Your
So
offer might be like, hey, my HVAC guy says
yeah, right.
that there's this,
Oh,
this, this, and this going on with it. That'll cost this much.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
that would be my recommendation. If you've got any questions on any system in the house, gee, what's that crack in that that crack in the foundation wall? Is that normal or not normal? Is that something I should be concerned about or not concerned about?
Oh no,
Those
I'm sure it's fine. It'll be fine.
those you can see. We're talking about, like, for instance, cracks in a heat exchanger. You've got to be trained to know,
Yeah.
even to see the crack, let alone
Right.
whether there is one or not. So, no,
And if there's a
it's
crack in the
money
heat
well spent.
exchanger, the furnace will still be running.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
it'll seem like the furnace is fine, but there's a crack in the heat exchanger, which makes it inoperable.
Hmm.
Basically, how do you say it? Like when we find a crack in a heat exchanger, we must, for safety reasons, turn it off.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. By code, we have to. There's no kind of cracked,
hmm.
or it's either cracked or it's not. And if has a crack or a flaw in the heat exchanger to that extent, yeah, it has to be turned off. But money well spent when you're buying a home. Uh, Checking the home comfort system is money well spent. That is way too big of an investment to just assume that everything is going to be okay.
Yeah. Also, just having a professional show you and teach you about the system is a great thing. Like we've
Sure.
had people who buy homes and it'll be 2 years later where they call us and have us out and we're like, you have a whole home humidifier. You're like,
Yeah.
do I? Do I really?
Yeah.
I
Or
had no idea.
yeah, you've got a fancy blower on this furnace and they weren't even
They don't know
aware
how
of
to
it.
use it.
They don't know
Yeah.
how to use it. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely
So
right.
good for that reason. You might be missing out on
Hmm.
some awesome things in the house that you're buying if you don't have somebody
Exactly.
explain it to you. So
Yep.
cool. Good advice.
Check those
Okay.
heat exchangers.
Check them.
Check them.
It might seem like it's working in the summertime, but come fall,
Yeah.
you'll be doing one of these
Yep.
if you
That's
didn't
right.
have somebody come out. All right, cool. Thanks, Dad.
Very good. We'll see you. Bye
Okay,
bye.
bye.